Hi. Welcome to the second lecture of the ARRISCRAFT in partnership with MOLE magazine. I guess before I introduce our guest tonight, I'd like to formally introduce MOLE magazine to the school community. Though I'm sure you may have felt our presence on the web, Facebook, or posters, we never actually had the opportunity to introduce in person. So in conjunction with that, we never really people were a little bit confused with our ambitions and our goals. Technically, at least I like to say, we operate under the group called Waterloo Publishing Group, which is a collective of University of Waterloo students with a strong belief in the potentials and the powers of broadcasting and publishing. Though our current project is called MOLE Magazine, the reason with the separate name is with the ambition that for the group to engender a further initiative in the future, small or big, apart from MOLE magazine. So that's kind of the basis of our group. So my name is Iggy So, and I am here to you as a founding editor and coordinator of MOLE magazine at the school. And our aim is to, in effect, lodge ourselves at the juncture between architectural speculation, culture, and realities encompassing design. And that is to say, it is to act as a catalyst, shifting architectural discourse from its prescribed rhetoric to discussion grounded in our immediate realities. And our inaugural theme, as you might have seen, is called Cute Little Things. And I won't read you the entire prompt at this time. But despite its playful name, it implies its greater interest in addressing the increasing complexity that is generated by the contemporary cultures. So interestingly, the complexities find a way to be expressed in rather compacted set of terms, usually in the form of technology like the MP3 players, teacup chihuahuas, or any compacted systems or commodities that you might like to capitalize on. So our submissions closed about 2 weeks ago, and we ended up with about 70 submissions. And what we decided to do is have 2 teams of juries, and the first jury went on today, and it's now completed. And the first team looked at about half the submissions. Today's participants were George Baird of Toronto and Baird Sampson Ewart, Mason White of Toronto and Lateral Office, and of course, SsD. The other date of the jury will happen next Friday on October 26th, and that would be that will be in company with Dan Doka of Interborough, and Eileen Kwon of Project Projects, and Bridget Shim of Shim Sutcliffe or University of Toronto. So tonight we have the distinct pleasure of hosting SsD Architecture and Urbanism, and they're coming from either New York, Boston, and Seoul. And tonight they happen to be flying in from New York, and I'm sure they'll explain their formatting of the office further on. And our tonight's lecture was actually coordinated in partnership with the theme that we are presenting. And let me quickly introduce SsD as a firm, and Jin Hee and John, who are here today with us, with their brief bios. So SsD is an architecture firm that approaches design as a convergent interdisciplinary venture where minimum form, energy, and materials can be integrated to harness maximum effects. Instead of separating aspects of architecture, landscape, history, social systems, and codes into their constituent disciplines, these agendas are simultaneously explored so that each discipline symbiotically gains from another. And this is the particularity that we found interest to work in conjunction with the MOLE's first theme, and hence we've invited them as our jury. They have lectured and exhibited at many universities and conferences, including Harvard GSD, Ohio State University, Seoul National University. They have been published in major media such as Metropolis Magazine, Dwell, Architectural Record, The New Yorker, PBS. And they've recently won awards from the AIA Young Architects Award, Emerging Voices Award, from the Architectural League of New York, Wholesome Foundation for Sustainable Construction Award, and amongst others. So Jin Hee received, sorry, I should probably say the full name. Jin Hee Park received a Master in Architecture from Harvard Graduate School of Design and a BFA in Industrial Design in Seoul National University, and she is currently a design critic in architecture at the Harvard Graduate School of Design. John Hong also received a master's in architecture with distinction from the Harvard GSD and a Bachelor of Science in Architecture with honors from University of Virginia. And he is also teaching at Harvard GSD as adjunct associate professor. So tonight they will be presenting what they entitled Cute Little Projects. We quite appreciate it. So this I'll just introduce with their own prompt. And it says, paralleling the inaugural issue of MOLE magazine, Cute Little Things, SsD will present a series of new projects that address the literal and phenomenal compaction of scale. Instead of relying on the expansion of architecture to address the increasingly networked and interconnected world, their interdisciplinary approach creates new forms of density to advance social, tectonic, and programmatic potential. Please welcome SsD.
How was the field trip? We heard. Oh, this is not a mic. This is the mic. I'm speaking. How was the field trip? Is everyone back? Yeah. Where did you go?
Nice weather.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah,
and thanks
thank you.
so much for having us.
Yep. So we're SsD, John Hong in Jinyu Park. Oops. Okay. Sorry. Yes. All right. Oh, drive. Okay. Here. Okay. As Iggy mentioned, we have 3 different offices in 3 different locations. Boston, New York, and Seoul. It's a cute little office. It's very small, 2 people in each place. The way we work is that we have this office in the local area to get a local knowledge and local establish local work relationship. And also we also work in collaboration to when we work in the big scale project or in tight schedule. So we can grow big and contract to small as it needed. And so these are the kind of trajectory, I guess, that we travel all the time, and those are the dot is the location of the projects that we are working on. So we always move around between this cute little office. And as an architect, there's a lot of different aspects that we had to deal with. So some social problem or structure challenge or context in sustainability, and all those kind of the issues that the conventional way is more like this: you solve one issues at a time, and then you move on to next issues. So that is can be called additive approach. The way we approach the problem is that we they consider all these different kind of factors in the beginning of the process, so that we can find the maximum solution out of all these different kind of issues, which we call a convergent approach, which lead us as SsD, which is single speed design that came from single speed bike. The first, probably the smallest project that we done, the Infinite Box, where we explore the boundary, and within this 2 meter by 2 meter by 2 meter cube space, that we we created this undefined the undulating edge entry, and when you go through there, that you can have this inversion of the confined space and the infinite space through this reflection. And through the reflection, you get the new extended boundary, but also that you get the object through this undulating surface.
So we started thinking about this project. Could I preemptively ask for a pointer, like a laser pointer? Is there one somewhere? Ah. On the ledge. On the ledge. I'm on the ledge. Oh wow! This is incredible. Okay, I like it. I will definitely use this for every slide. Starting with this one. So this last project, the infinite box. Actually, I'm kidding. I may not use that. The infinite box was a kind of a working method, more than a project, I would say, and it's something that we did and applied to other projects. So this is the Braver House in Newton, Massachusetts, and it's located in an area that is full of McMansions. What this area is, I'm sure you have these kind of suburbs here too, where it's a pre-war lot, so the lots are actually very small. But then you have people building oversized houses on them, demolishing the older buildings. So what we wanted to do in our case is build a small footprint house with a large spatial condition. And also another agenda of ours is to kind of hide the accoutrement of sustainability, like the solar panel. So this kind of uncanny reiteration of the suburban house type is on the slope of this asymmetrical roof. And so we think that, solar panels, sure, they're great, but they're like air conditioning units, or, they're like other kinds of mechanical equipment. So why show them off just to say you have them? But you can see on the roof, it's the white house there with the roof, with the solar array. And so our goal, typically what people would build is on the left, and our goal was to attack at least some of this pie, which is the heating, the cooling, the lighting, and the water, the energy, heat the water, with this strategy of compaction. And so instead of building out to the lot line, what we did was we built the fence out to the lot line. So in the middle diagram, you actually see the fence, the lighter line going out to the lot line, but a smaller house. And then through that fence, we can intersect it with the interior spaces. And so you get this fence, it's almost kind of a protagonist in the plan that begins to expand the spaces. So even though the living room on the lower left is small, the space of it is enlarged. And so the plan begins to look like this, where on the upper left you see the dining room. It's just big enough for a dining table, but the dining room per se expands to the exterior all the way to the edge of the fence. So we're playing with the same ideas that we did in the infinite box by expanding the scale and making this kind of inversion between small and large. The other thing we're doing is the compaction of energy systems. So if you see that slot on the... This doesn't work. There's a stack ventilation void that you see on the left of the screen, and that actually cools and heats the house passively. You can see it there, also bringing light to the interior of the house at its core. Another thing that we did to sort of expand the spatial readings from the interior to the out is to shift the house in plan and section. And here you can see it where it's kind of wiggling from one side of the site to the next. And what that does is, instead of this condition where, the slides are out of order, but that's okay. Here's the stack ventilation core and how that works. There's a kind of a vent that opens up when it gets when the weather gets to a certain temperature, and it draws the air through the house. And here's it. So here's the kind of wiggling of the house in plan and section, and where you would usually build these larger scale houses that have literally 3 to 5 feet side yard and views, maybe opportunistic views, but mostly embarrassing views across to your neighbors through the side yard. This one has these kind of extended views that takes advantage of the front and back, both in plan and section. So it's looking like this. And here's that shift. And what it does then, you gain privacy, but you also gain the length of the views.
Next project is the project we've done as a part of the Orders 100. So we are invited by Ai Weiwei and Harjung Dimyeon to design the villa. So the 100 architects actually gathered together in the place called Ordos, which is the Inner Mongolia, and that we visited the site. The site is a new city, quite literally new city. There's nothing, and out of this desert that we are supposed to design the villa. So what we looked at is, because there are not such a thing that we can call as a context. So we looked at this future, the user of this villa, which they set out. There are 36 rooms that we have to design, so that we looked at what is the kind of different kind of the program that we can generate from the everyday life. So we map out that the activity, and we categorize the room and stack that by that category to make 8 towers. So the one, there are this entry tower, the living towers and kitchen towers, and 2 bedroom towers. And the way it works is that this each different activity happens in a specific time during the day, so that the whole tower can be turned off or turned on depending on the use. And also this is the site plan, and as you can see, it's a very tightly organized, so that there's a huge volume that you can cast a shadow to the neighbor and to a certain spot. So by actually the dissecting the volume in several pieces, that we can reduce the duration of the shadow that cast. So that with these 8 towers, we could create this more like a community-like atmosphere instead of like a big mansion.
And this is a view of the interior. We're trying to sort of, in a way, harness the vastness of the light in the desert in this entry tower, and also kind of reference maybe some kind of geological kind of shape. What this does is the windows are slanted, and so even though these towers are bundled, they look towards the sky, and you actually miss the view misses the adjacent tower. So it's at once it's very dense, or it's actually could be very urbanistic as well. And splitting up the programs this way, there's also this kind of viewer and viewed relationships that can be set up, and that can be mapped onto public and private. And what we did in terms of the structure then, in terms of leaning, was we had to deal with the kind of low-tech construction that we had in Inner Mongolia. So the whole thing is a kind of load-bearing concrete frame structure. So what this diagram is saying is that all the towers are autonomous in terms of their structure. They don't go outside of their foundation, which allows them to be built in a very low-tech way. But also the shape lends itself to certain passive heating and cooling strategies. So as the towers hit the ground, they are unbundled, and there's a lot of porosity in different sorts of entries. But as they go higher and higher, these voids begin to close up, they bridge across, or they become aggregated into larger masses. And then again, when you go higher, they begin to split apart again, and then they terminate in terms of making these individual gardens. And so here's a diagram of that kind of convergence of the towers and sort of unexpected kind of relationships you might get, adjacencies you might get from one tower to the next. We were thinking that the north side would be almost completely opaque because the northern winds in the Inner Mongolia are super cold, and but the interior would stay porous and generate this kind of community feel. The landscape, they have these kind of flash rainstorms that just come down. Within 30 seconds, you get a downpour, and then it washes away. That's why nothing grows. So instead of the kind of artificial landscapes that were being proposed in this area, we did a kind of a low-tech strategy, putting clay pots in the ground, which holds the water and allows the landscape to generate. But it also works with the idea of a kind of monumentality where it reflects the building and somehow makes it taller looking. Oh, this is me? Okay. So in terms of the idea of programmatic invention, let's say, making a large villa small, this is another thing where it's making a small villa large, I'd say. A project in Manhattan where 3 families are sharing the space of a single loft, and through kind of this partitioning, we're calling them parentheses. You can sort of see them in the lower left hand. It's almost like subdividing a sentence. On the very bottom diagram, you kind of see these parentheses. So these curtains gently subdivide the space and produce different spatial territories, meanings, this kind of thing. And so in this diagram, we were looking at a lot of the housing in New York, I would say middle class housing. It's empty a lot of the times. They're kind of houses in the city, and even though it appears dense, the actual use of them is not very dense at all. So we were kind of mapping a kind of 18% density and trying to raise it to 86% by allowing 3 families to share this apartment. And they're traveling from all over the place. They're there for only a couple days at a time. And they're using Google Calendar kind of schedule their stays. So if you think on a larger scale about the small scale proposition, we did a series of time-lapse photographs that we're just looking at the occupancy of this block, and again it looks very dense, but at any given day most of the apartments were actually empty for quite long periods of time. So what if we were to aggregate the way dwellings were shared? Could that open up new potentials for the rest of the city and actually increase the amount of building stock for public programs? It could completely transform the city and also maybe even control speculation.
So their stay at this place is relatively short. So we wanted to maximize their the experience. So we slanted this wall to get the maximum view to the major side. And the slanted wall also allows all the rooms can have a view to this major site. And that wall actually is constructed as a multiple functions. Some parts is a locker, some parts is a desk, and some part is opening. And also the material for that wall is chrome back painted wall, chrome back painted frosted glass. So that reflects the light, ambient light to the inside, so that reduces the use of artificial light. And also this curtain divided a space to fit those different kind of program, but also that defines the path. So through that path that orient to the entry through that the closet, the entry to this kids' room, where we designed this the furniture to maximize the use of the space. And also this shelving that we designed that we call parenthetical sliding shelf, which is that it is slides horizontally to adjust the height. And we light outside and inside of this mesh curtain. So if you lit outside, then it becomes opaque, and if you lit inside, it becomes more transparent. So to vary the visual privacy in the space. So along this exploration, that we are also invited to be part of this the 18 parcels development, which is we call this mini orders because it developed in a similar fashion. So the 14 architects got invited to design the houses, and we choose the smallest one, which is the 16 feet by 16 feet lot. And so we talk about then what kind of the lifestyle or the living style that we are projecting, so that we put out this some set of manifesto to address some kind of philosophy and the mentality to this space. And we looked at then specifically the position of the human being, and for each different kind of program. And then we defined this the minimum the space that's surrounding this specific position, and then we compose that to compose it in a different way to explore the potential of the space.
And so this is literally that score composed into a series of I would say they're not rooms, but they're positions through which you might use the space. And those positions, even though it's 16 by 16, you could have every aspect of a large house within this little tower. And we began to explore. It had to be built on a budget, so we had to explore ways of prefabrication and construction. So in terms of the skin, we're thinking that to increase the kind of the ambiguity of scale, we would actually just use polycarbonate and have a kind of blurred skin. But when you open a window, it's completely open. It's a very mild climate there, and so it's either completely open or the whole skin is just obscured. And here's a version of these kind of prefabricated SIP panels that are stacked vertically and horizontally to make a variety of different kinds of situations. Here it is in the site. The houses next to us are actually normal size. They seem hulking compared to ours, but so a view of that. Okay, and so this micro living, all these cities are now talking about it at a very serious level, and I don't know if you read, New York City just is trying to implement new regulation to make so-called micro units to deal with the problem of density and the problem of land values, all these kind of things, and Asia is definitely not exempt for that. This is where it's really happening to an extreme scale. So we're exploring this idea of micro living in a project that's slated for construction next year, and where's our site? I need the pointer. The site is within a very kind of a dense network of medium scale buildings. So it's in a kind of very repetitive. There it is. Yeah, it's a kind of very repetitive space that has very strict zoning regulations. And here's the fabric. It's kind of, sort of in between the kind of high-rise and the low-rise parts of the city. And so we just took the zoning envelope in a very matter-of-fact way and created our volume. But also it's artist housing as well. So we took the idea of the parking lot, which was mandatory on the ground floor. A lot of these buildings are lifted up, and then the bottom filled with parking. It's kind of an unfortunate kind of urbanism that happens where you have a conflict between buildable space and parking. But we lifted this up and allowed the rest of the space as a kind of public gathering space and for events for the artist community.
So we explore the character of these units. Each unit has 120 square feet space, which is the minimum of this kind of type that the city regulates. And we use the analogy of tapioca to address that there is the core shell, which is the completely private, but then there's the surrounding gel that can create this in between space between public and the private, and the relationship that we can set up by overlapping or creating gap between. So we looked at this the tapioca condition in the around the site, and look at those the typical the housing type, and we look at this specific aspect, the paving or parking drainage condition, the edge condition, and how the people actually reinvent use of that kind of residual space or residual elements. The utility vent meter kind of infrastructure, or the elements that how people use it, how we can actually take advantage of that elements. The function, there are a lot of different kind of screening system for privacy as well as security. And there's the public amenity like trash cans and the recycling cans and the grains. So for the first floor, it usually, as you saw in the previous the example, that mostly occupied by parking, but then we reduce the number of parking by reducing the size of the units, and then we put this public the cultural program, and so from the street that you can see to underground through this amphitheater. And there is a typical floor plan that where can see it's very tight, but each unit has there's common the size, the common dimensional system, but depending on the surrounding condition, depending on this tapioca gel condition, the use of each space can be more specific. So that, for instance, the green dome space can have all those the balcony space to put to grow a lot of greens. For instance, whereas the film critic space can take advantage of this firewall through the large window. So it is located and is surrounded by all this neighbor building. So that only view that this building can have is that this storefront is, and so we shifted these units so that each unit can have at least some level of exposure to the street, and the location of the program within the units also it can be used as combined or as individual, depending on the relationship between the owners. And so the section more shows that you can share the wet area, or you can share the cooking area, and also you can have, although each unit is so small, there the boundary becomes expanded. And for interior, that's depending on the cabinetry, the opening of the cabinetry, that you can accommodate different kind of activity. And one of those the gap between the units. Those are the space that you can share or decide not to share. And this overall that you can see there's the flooring, the units behind of the screen, and some of those linear elements is the gas pipe, and is the drainage pipe, and the power line, and it also it provides it works as a railing, and provides the security and the privacy at some point, depending on so we vary the density, and also that creates the kind of the outdoor space at the bottom. And so we explore the box, the condition, and the gallery space that we designed and completed last year in Haeri, Korea. So we designed this 10 different boxes to design this the various scale or proportion of the space and the lighting conditions, because the owner actually didn't specify and actually didn't know what kind of the gallery that he wanted to have. So that we created this various space, so at least it can provide at least one space that for this certain kind of the artwork.
And so here's a view of the exterior, and we're trying to use every space as a kind of exhibition space, including the stair hall. And also, one of the characteristic things about the exterior is the fritted skin, which we'll get more into detail later. The site is in front of this wetlands. It's very important to the center of this community, and so we didn't want to block it. It was you can see in the upper left that it's related to these kind of greenways that culminate in this wetland, and so the bottom floor has this kind of clear void space that you look through, and this is the kind of condition that it does fronting that wetlands. But the other larger site condition is that it's very close to North Korea. You can actually see North Korea from here, and he's kind of cute, right? He looks like a kid, but this statue is massive. So at the same time, it's monumental and cute, which is the thing. It makes for something uncanny. But you know, the fearless leader. This is the boundary between north and south, and so this is the context. And so what they did with the Harry Art Valley, where our project is they decided to, instead of it, since it is near this militarized zone, they decided to put cultural programs there to kind of, in a way, alleviate that kind of tension. But also because the land is cheap there, and that's where galleries always go, right? At first, in the cheap areas. So this is the real condition. It's a no-fly zone. And so the buildings have to be very squat there because the military jets are always flying over. And so where you get, most of the galleries, you can do 11 meters and 3 stories. So most of them have a kind of unfolded section like this, where you're trying to fit as much space as possible. So in terms of putting this matrix of spaces together that Jenny was mentioned, we wanted to generate a section that's more like this on the bottom. Whoops, there we go. Let me try that one more time. Can someone press play on that?
This section, the space along the circulation path. And so it's hard to explain the plan without the pointer, but as you can see, from the top, through the curved glass, you enter through the space, and through this the diagonal vestibule. And that leads to the stairs which is the departing point of this the circulation. So this curved glass indicates the entryway in subtly, and also that because of its curved and it goes in under the box, so that it provides the more transparency to the backside, to the leg side, and through the door and this vestibule in the slanted glass that guides you to the starting point of the stairs. And also, we looked at the structural system where we could build this up easily with this 6 columns instead of many columns. But then we found out is that this 6 column, although it's less number, it obstructs the view, whereas this series of fine column actually that provides the more continuous view. These are series of different kind of this exhibition space that we give it a very specific name. And one of the space that the clients wanted to use to have the event. And this space that we call the supercore because the main circulation actually happens here. So that's triple high space actually that provides circulation, but also that provides this stack ventilation that you can through the window that you can see in the top. So you can constantly move through the exhibition space and the view to outside. The second floor, they can see this the continuous move through the space. That shows the different kind of the spatial and the lighting condition between the supercore and the gallery space. Then you continue go up to this roof garden, the sculpture garden. And the from entry from your right, so you access from the entry to this entry gallery, which we reduce actually the ceiling height to create this compressed the experience and draw the people to the landscape and to the departing point directly. And also there's the strategy of this elevation, the flip pattern, is that there's a regulation for this landscaping, and the pear tree is the one of the trees that this specific district regulates. So depending on the season, the blooming season, that the clear part of the glass it can be filled with the flower, and so the perception of the space from the inside and from outside is changed depending on the condition of surrounding. And then also the free pattern that we developed also the works to regulates the control the glare and also heat gain, and we actually wrote a script and that is the animation shot that actually it's not working right now, but through the exploration that we designed the location and density of the pattern, which the works with the climate condition around here, whereas you get the foggy day often.
So this is another a project near, it's in Songdo, which is, I don't know if you guys know Korea, which is the airport city. It's a kind of a new development west of Seoul. And there's a lot of historical sites that are being erased there. One of them is, well, this project is called Island of Water. This is our proposal. But one of them, if you see in the middle, there's a cute little island there with a freeway going through it, and this is a strategy to actually maintain this historical site or reclaim this historical site, because it used to be part of the ceremonial of the city. As the tidal flows were higher, this bridge would disappear, and when it would get lower, you could actually cross to this island. So it was actually really important kind of a seasonal thing. Even though it was a small island, it fared very largely in the imagination of the community. So this is what the island looks like today. Then you see it, the kind of lump with the trees on it, closed in by infrastructure, and also the construction has made this just a large mudflat area that's polluted. And so reclaiming this little island was our task. And so by creating a kind of island of water around it, we regained the figure of this little island, and then through controlling of the tidal flows, we could then regenerate some of the local species of landscape. One of the things that we're trying to do is recycle a lot of the fishing waste, and we discovered that there's thousands of fishing boats that are thrown out every year. Buoys that are, 120 million buoys are thrown out in this very area, vinyl ropes. So what can we do with these kind of things? One of the things with the fishing boats, we could scuttle them, and that would control the tidal flows and allow the kind of artificial reef that would regenerate the landscape. And another thing is we could make a sort of reach back into history and create a floating bridge out of this recycled material. The floating bridge also could then be an infrastructure to create an oyster farm, and it would that would also help clean the water. Here's a view of that section. And the bridge, because it floats, it doesn't touch down onto this regenerated ecosystem. The bridge could widen and contract and hold different kinds of events that are associated with the kind of seasonal celebration of this island. So here are the steps through which one might regenerate. Here's the existing condition. The first thing would be to make this kind of island of water, to then scuttle these boats and create these wetland areas behind the reefs. Then the plants would regenerate, encouraging these kind of different kinds of microecologies. And then the bridge would then connect different networks and paths to these areas that are developing.
So the last project that we would like to present is that again the theme of the creating interaction between the experience and the nature. This is the interactive sculpture piece that we designed to stimulate the interaction between people and interaction to the nature. So we use the analysis of the cloud, and which is the visualization of this invisible water molecules. So that this cloud reacts to the movement of people and the movement of the weather. So the movement of people, that it tracks the people's path and the interact with the path, and also that the stimulates people together, and then the lighting and sounds effect get changed according to that. And also it reacts to the different condition of the weather change, so that it creates a different kind of pattern and the sounds effect. It's located in the topographic condition, and you can see we use the base foundation of this column to create this mound condition where people can sit down and gather. And also this slanted column actually works vertically and laterally as a structure. Seen from above. There's different kind of a lighting effect. And there's the array of LED and there's the irregular arrangement of the structure, horizontal structure, actually creates this natural, like the cloud-like the impression. Okay. It's inserted next to the white black gallery. All right. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
The landscapes are in snowflake cyclone waste ozone change. Ozone chased compost taste. Skydog stratosphere enemy no air endangered air balance air seasonal pattern trees air of environment. Environment excelsior requirement. Dance in sequence, climb in silence, mountains without science, Einstein infinity, orbiting millennium birds of the requiem ice age, truth serum inverted plectrum souls, the oil egos within. Citadel. All-time security, liberty. What we consume, consumer Ovidian bloom, Ouroboros circles soon. Design a better noon, midnight comes too soon. Sway in silent power, solar the way of the flower. Hydro steam flows by our tidal epiphany.
Right. That's it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to take questions. Maddie has a mic if you want to use it. Could I just start with one
Okay.
really superficial question?
Yes.
Did I see you guys modeling those shots and videos? Was that you guys partially as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was us.
Okay.
Yes. We're kind of doing it as a test run.
Yeah.
So we just made
Okay.
a video.
Yeah. And second question, was that your own voice whispering?
It was.
Okay.
Those sounds are actually they're embedded in the they're embedded in the infrastructure of this. So the infrastructure of this was guided not by structure, but by the electronics. So here you can see motion sensors. Oops. I'm like pressing the button. You can see motion sensors kind of there, yes. And there's also speakers that are, linear speakers that are embedded in there. So it's like, it's not stereophonic, it's eight different channels, so it's very immersive, let's say, the sound. And so it does have a soundtrack that you hear, and that sound was taken from the mixing board directly when we're walking through it. Any other, we don't mind superficial, the more superficial the better. It's late and it's easier.
It's your, might not be. Oh, yes.
Was that
Which one?
The house project, or? Yes. Oh, not being big enough. Do they complain about not being? Well, no, not definitive enough. Do they ever say they want something more solid than a screen to kind of define their spaces? They didn't in that project, but we wouldn't mind if they wanted to. That would be kind of a good constraint. How to create privacy but also expand the boundary. I think. You want to be our client? Do you have any money? Do you want to build some houses? But yes.
Well, the impression were those, well, I probably, seeing this completely new city, like it was a literally new city, so everything is new there, is quite striking. The way they actually make this desert for a more livable environment is that they brought in a lot of different kind of technology, which is, it seems, I mean, between the 100 architects, we had a heated discussion that whether, I mean, this kind of a development is sustainable or not. And the stance was that because of this, this is sustainable for like a certain people, and that is actually this stimulates the economy there. So the actual method of bringing this green into this the desert and make the deserts more more livable forest, that actually it worked and actually is featured in the mini documentary also. There was a second question. If you guys find oh, the typical condition. Yeah. The one of the theme and the issues that we've been developing in our office is that from the beginning as a young architect, the scale of the project that you get actually is quite small. So we wanted to address the bigger issues, not just the designing for this specific condition or for this specific client, but by designing this something more and approaching more prototypical condition, so that we can apply this the solution in a broader the condition. So that's probably the main issues that we throughout our project.
Good.
Well, actually, I've got one. I was interested in the project that involved consolidating different transient, like families, situations into one apartment space. But did you ever consider the next step after once you've, consolidated people stretched over this much space into a much smaller number of buildings? Like, what would be the next step for that leftover space?
Oh, what would be the next? Right, and there was that slide that kind of just showed it sort of blank like that. We left that slide blank for us to speculate, for others to speculate too, because everyone complains there's not enough parks, even though they're pocket parks. And so that was one of our speculations. Can you have like a mid-block park? Schools, I think, schools are always so cramped in New York City, so these kind of public these public programs could actually gain volume and square footage and this kind of thing. So we just sort of want to provoke that. How about we densify and then see what we can do in terms of the public space of the city? But what do you think? What else could go there? What are your thoughts? What are you projecting onto this? We want to hear.
Well, okay, I just went to New York, really recently. Our class did, and thought the High Line was fantastic.
Sure.
But it would be really interesting to see how commercial buildings could be further integrated into parks. So I don't know, maybe integrating the indoor and outdoor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Anybody else?
How are we doing on time?
I noticed for I think it was the gallery project, you play a lot around with the idea of expansion and contraction of space as you moved through it. I guess it was horizontally. We're actually doing a project where we're playing around with expansion and contraction of space. And we were wondering if you thought it would work as like a vertical configuration as well.
I see.
Actually, that address it's not only horizontal movement, also that.
It's a section.
So, yeah, it's a.
Right.
So you kind of move horizontally but vertically also.
And so I guess with that, you just played around with the different ceiling heights and noticed the sections. Did people move downwards as well, or was it just upwards?
In that case, it was upwards, but I think it could be upwards and downwards.
I'm just curious.
I'm seeing the dilemma in your project, because you have a space where you have to go up to, and then you have to go down to another space to get to it, right? And your critic is saying, why go up and then down again? Is that happening?
Potentially.
No. That's happening? I think we should have a desk crit later on. But yeah, I think it'd go upwards.
Yeah.
Plan and section, upwards, downwards. And that drawing method was an exploration tool because it's an unfolded section. The building is a matrix of these cubes that are all interlocked. So when you experience it, you walk through it in that. But in reality, it's a whole bunch of shifted cubes.
Like you are going
Spiraling through shifted cubes.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi. I'm kind of formulating my question as I talk right now, but
Good.
I mean, nowadays we see architects, maybe not so much nowadays, but like we see architects working on small projects that sometimes, in conjunction with large architectures, say example, like there's Scofidius doing, say, these dance performance works in the earlier projects, or like So Fujimoto working with these small scale projects that seems to be like a larger party diagrams, or Sana with like similar ideas. And I saw in your first one where you're working with the, I forgot what the title was.
The cube.
The cube
infinite
seems
box.
to embody like a larger idea that you implemented later on. But for like a project like this, I wonder what your motivation as an architect is other than creating an environment, do you see this kind of project moving on to a larger scale architecture? Like,
I see.
it's like a stance that I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the way I understood is that the creating this the kind of a phenomenological the environment and kind of the sensory environment that you have to be there to experience that how can we then apply that to the real building, right? Well, I mean, that issue. I mean, I guess so. The Braver House, we also try to implement that with this fence, and for HBNY, the parental space that loved renovation in Manhattan. Also, we try to address that this boundary and condition, and also this the phenomenon of light and the sound also. What else?
Well, this one, even though it took on the form of a cloud, it's all it is a kind of screen. It's just a pixelated screen, and so I think the idea of the pixel and now the trendy term voxel, volumetric pixel, can be applied in a myriad of different ways. A kind of more advanced version of the script we're using to do an urban design project that's based on voxels, and the voxels are, you can embed information within each voxel, but you can also embed the way they react to each other. So in a way we're working with program language as the stuff of this project as well, and information as the stuff of the project as well. So with that, opening up that door, it actually opened up a lot of doors in terms of the way we deal with information as architects. And there was an exhibit where we used the exact same technology, where when you walk through a certain panel, it would light up other parts of the exhibit, and it would sort of guide you through the exhibit, but it was a very small exhibit that was very dense, and you couldn't really unpack it until you walked in front of something, and it would highlight certain areas. So it's more of an informational thing. The phenomenological aspect of it, man, there's no hope. You can't map it back to art. I'm just kidding. I'm thinking of all these ink studies that I saw upstairs, like these really elegant drop of black ink in water. You guys did that, right? There's a lot of kind of I see this in this school, and I also see the struggle. This is very superficial, but I see the struggle between the kind of uneasy back and forth conversation between those kind of exercises and then the exercises of real buildings with egress and stuff like that. I think it's a really
it's just because this might be also quite superficial reading of your work, but like I feel like you're quite interested in looking at how information and looking at data as architecture and the relationship and their systems and formulating forms from these systems. And I almost feel like this work is similar in that you're visualizing a system of information that you have recreated, configured in a way.
Maybe, I mean, this project can be understood in a way better in the if you explain the origin of the design. Actually, we designed this. This is we realized here because the client actually saw that our project that we designed this piece in this the Providence. There is this competition that the city try to come up with some kind of a solution for this the hidden, abandoned, dangerous the corner of the city, and the idea that we came up with is that using this surveillance camera and showing this and showing the movement of the people in dramatic way. It's not, some so scared, like a kind of an observation way. So that also that works with the weather, and so that without making barrier or the building or the kiosk to control the space, we wanted to address basically the same issue with this light and the sound.
Thank you.
All right. Dinner time?
Good? Okay.
Great. Thanks so much
Thank
again
you.
for having us.